I would like to go over the assignment. You will be given this HTML file, the images, and the file includes the needed JavaScript code to roll the dice. So the object is to roll the dice and to calculate the value on the dice. If the user rolls a 9 or doubles, they win a prize. By doubles, we mean that each dice has the same number. When you click the button and roll the dice, you will be required to display two statements on the web page. First statement is the number that was rolled, which is the sum of the value of each of the dice, and then a message saying whether or not they've won a prize or not. Notice they rolled a 12, so here we see the number 12, and here we have the congratulations because they rolled doubles, which are 2 6s. When I click again, we now have rolled 7. You see the statement on the web page, you have rolled number 7. However, you also see the statement, sorry, you did not win. So you will be required to write the two statements depending on the value of the dice. So this is the file that will be given to you. Notice that you can click the button and roll the dice. All you need to do is to write the statements. So let's take a look at this code. Here we have the main element, and inside this element we have two images. Both of these images have an ID attribute. The source of both image is dice6.png. So there are 6 images from dice1.png up to dice6.png. So all of the names of the images are the same except for the number. Here we have the button. Notice the button has an ID. So we're clicking this button and we're changing the source value of these two images. That is what the function is doing right now. When we click this button, the JavaScript code will rewrite the value of the source attribute. Further down, I have a section element, and there are two P elements. They both have IDs. This is where you're going to display your results. The first statement saying what number they've rolled, the second statement saying whether they've won a prize or not. So let me go over the JavaScript code here in this function just so that you have a better understanding of what's going on. So here we have the click event being set up. We have document.getElementById btn. That's the ID for the button we're clicking on. We're storing that object reference in a variable, the button, and now we are executing the click event on that object, the button, .onClick equals roll dice. Roll dice is the name of the function. In this function, I have two variables, num1 and num2. The value of num1 is being obtained by some JavaScript code. And you will be learning more about this code later on in this class. In JavaScript, we have a math object, and we can execute a random function. All programming languages have the ability to generate a random number. So in JavaScript, we can generate a random number. The random number only generates a decimal, so we need to multiply it by 6 to generate whole numbers. However, it will only generate between 0 and 5, so therefore we need to add 1 to that. So this expression generates our first random number. So we have a value now. What we're going to do with that value is we're going to use that in our code. So here I have getElementById, image 1. Remember, we have two images, and we're using the setAttribute method, and that takes two parameters. The first parameter is which attribute, which is the source, and the second parameter is the value. So what we're doing is we're concatenating the value of the source element, and if you remember, the name of the image was dice 6.png. So we're splitting that up with JavaScript. So we're adding the value of that number to the word dice, and we're concatenating it with the ending .png. And what that's doing is it's going to actually display a different image. So we're doing that twice. All this function is doing at this point is enabling us to click the button and change the images on the page. However, it's also storing the value. And those are the numbers that you need to do this assignment. So the code that you will be writing will be inside this function. So everything is going to happen when this function is called. So all you need to do is add the code inside this function. So first of all, we need to get the value that the user rolled. So that's pretty easy. We already know that num1 is the value for the first dice and num2 is the value for the second dice. So all we need to do is declare a variable and use that calculation to obtain a new value. So that's the first thing you need to do. Get the number of the two dice that were rolled. Now we need to use a simple if statement. We need to compare the two values that are eligible for a prize. The number has to equal 9, or num1 and num2 have to equal each other. Remember, that was doubles. So we have two conditions. The first condition is that the total number equals 9, or the second condition is that the two numbers are the same. So that condition would be placed inside the parentheses for our if. So if the if returns true, it means that they win a prize. What you would do is you would create a variable to hold that message and then set the value for that variable inside the curly braces if the condition were true. If the condition were not true, meaning the dice was not 9 or doubles, then you write a different value for that same variable inside the else. So this is the general approach that I have written here for you. This is not included in the code I give you. I am just showing you the approach. So here we have the two placeholders. The first one will be the result of the two numbers. The second one will be the result saying whether or not they won a prize. So you will need to have two getElementById statements that set the inner HTML for the two placeholders. I am also offering an opportunity for 10 points extra credit. So here we're rolling the dice, and in the event that they do get doubles, which eventually, there we go, they will, you're going to write another message. You're going to tell them that they have won the prize for rolling doubles, and you're going to tell them what number was rolled twice. So here we have the number 6 being rolled twice. All right, let's see if I can get another double going. There we go. Now I have 2. Here we're telling them you have rolled number 4, meaning the total number. Congratulations, you have won a prize for rolling doubles. You rolled 2 of the number 2. How you would do this is that you would need another if statement, and you would redefine the message to the user in that if statement.